Get them out of here. Anyone who's in this country illegally, anyone who's a threat to the United States of America, get them out. That was President Donald Trump's words last night on Air Force One as he was talking to a reporter who asked him the very bizarre question, what does reverse migration mean?
What do you mean by reverse migration?
It means get people out that are in our country, get them out of here. I want to get them out. We got a lot of people in our country that shouldn't be here, and they came in through Biden. And he was the worst president in the history of our country. But the single biggest thing he did was allow millions of people into our country that shouldn't be here. Drug dealers, prisons were opened up and allowed to come into our country. You take a look at the people that were allowed to come into our country. We're paying a big price for it, and we will for years to come, including the recent killer of two wonderful National Guards people. And I'll tell you what, that animal should not have been allowed to come into our country.
Yeah, Donald Trump not happy with the animal who killed one National Guardsman and shot another who's still in critical condition. Donald Trump not happy with a lot of other illegal immigrants and Afghan nationals who came in during the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan during the Biden administration, loaded onto cargo planes and just dumped in the United States of America totally unvetted. This has been a problem, and this is something that President Donald Trump's been referencing since last Friday when he posted that very lengthy message on his Truth Social. It's still, by the way, pinned to the top of the White House rapid release X feed, where he's talking about, making sure that we get rid of anyone in our country who means us harm. He will permanently pause migration from all third world countries. He's going to terminate the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those with the auto pen. He's going to remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or incapable of loving our country. And that is something that apparently, now that he's headed back to Washington, he is holding steadfast to. Another reporter, I swear, it must have been the Thanksgiving weekend, because it was like a Sunday night, the weekend of Thanksgiving. They didn't have their A reporters in the White House press corps, because another reporter goes, what do you mean by denaturalize Americans?
Mr. President, you said that you might denaturalize some American citizens. Can you talk about
You mean people that are in here that shouldn't be here?
that became Americans? Are you trying
Well, we'll
to
see.
revoke their
Yeah, we have criminals that came into our country and they were naturalized maybe through Biden or somebody that didn't know what they were doing. If I have the power to do it, I'm not sure that I do, but if I do, I would denaturalize absolutely.
Yeah, that makes, look, I don't know and Donald Trump, that's the thing about President Donald Trump. He knows that the best way to get things done is to A, make a bold proclamation that you're going to do something, B, start doing it, C, wait for someone to tell you that you can't do it, and then D, fight him in court. That's exactly how his administration has become so powerful, and it's exactly how his administration has become so effective. Donald Trump doesn't wait for somebody to tell him he can or cannot do something. He waits for someone to tell him he can't do something after he's already done it. And fun fact, this is exactly what Joe Biden and the Democrats have been doing. Republicans, they neglected this for years. They let the Democrats take control of the system. Joe Biden, for example, when it came to the eviction moratoriums during COVID, he had no power. The CDC had no power to tell landlords that they couldn't evict tenants, but Joe Biden took that power and he did it. And it took years for the Supreme Court to say, no, you can't do that. And you know what happened after the Supreme Court told him he couldn't do it? He kept doing it. They had to tell him again. And same thing with the tuition remission or paying back tuition. That's illegal, totally totally beyond the purview of the White House's power. But he did it anyway until, of course, the courts told him he couldn't. Donald Trump is just taking the same tactic now, but with something that is clearly beneficial to Americans, which is getting killers and terrorists and unvetted citizens out of our country. He also got a question about tampon Tim Walz, who he berated in that same post, called him the R word, which a lot of people believe is super offensive. So I won't repeat it here, but you know the one I'm talking about. Rhymes with I don't even know what it rhymes. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, he was asked about that, and he was asked about Tampon Tim demanding that Donald Trump release his MRI, because after Donald Trump called him the R word, that was Tim Walz's big response. His big mic drop moment was release the MRI. Well, Donald Trump said, I got no problem with that.
Governor Walz asked you to release the MRI records.
Will you tell us what it was
Governor
for?
Walz, you mean the incompetent Governor Walz? So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What were they looking
It's like my
at?
phone call. I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So if you want to hear about it or if you want to release it, do you want to have it released?
Yes,
News Nation,
please.
failing News Nation.
No, sir, we're not failing.
News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Please. Can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
That was President Donald Trump taking a moment to take a swipe at News Nation again, which I don't know what News Nation did to him, but I guess he's not really happy with that network. And when he's not happy with the network, I would hate to be a reporter anywhere near him when he decides. He was in rare form. I think he was excited after the weekend off to get back to work, to get back in front of the cameras, and to get back to a place where he could really let his opinions about everything be known. But that same reporter asked him, "Do you regret using that term that you used to describe Tim Walz? Do you regret it now?" Which is a dumb question because I don't remember the last time Donald Trump ever regretted anything.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find offensive or retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with it. Absolutely, sure.
Because you don't think that
You have a problem with it? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something wrong with Walz.
There's something wrong with Tim Walz. I mean, I think we all know there's something wrong with Tim Walz. We saw him on the campaign trail. We saw the dance. We know that he's kind of a bizarro guy. We see the jazz hands, this kind of weird waving that no actual testosterone-filled male would ever, no testosterone-filled male would ever actually wave like that. But Tampon Tim does. And Donald Trump, what Donald Trump has done here is really brilliant when you think about it. By calling him the R word in that True Social post last week, he turned the conversation to, gee, is Tim Walz actually mentally handicapped? That's all anybody's talking about. And it's now been 4 days and reporters are still asking him questions. And the questions are, what's wrong with Tampon Tim Walz? Is Governor Walz mentally stable? Is he stupid? Is there something wrong with him? Does he have a birth defect? These are all the questions that people are asking right now. And it's a brilliant piece of political maneuvering. It's a brilliant piece of manipulation of the media. By doing that, they've basically made the question of the day, is Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, basically retarded? that is something that politically I didn't see. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see 2025 wrapping up with that kind of political question, but that's the thing. You can never really plan for what's going to happen when President Donald Trump is in power. Speaking of Somalia, that is, of course, the homeland of Ilhan Omar and her brother / husband. And Donald Trump has targeted them because Somalia is trying slowly to bring in a lot of unvetted, undocumented people who may or may not have the best interests of the United States of America at hand. And that is something that President Donald Trump is very, very wary of.
Like those people, can you
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them.
What are you talking about?
You got to talk up.
she said how many countries?
Is there a list of...
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? And it's probably more than that.
Is that what you mean when you mean third world countries, those 19?
No, I don't think they're all third world, but in many cases they are third world. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
And you talk about denaturalization.
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
All right, so there you go. Tim Walz has mental problems. Ilhan Omar married her brother to come here illegally, and we should probably throw her out of the country. That's President Donald Trump's agenda going into this post-Thanksgiving week. That's what he's focused on, and that's what the media has been asking him about. So I would look for hopefully some movement on both of those issues. Now, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that Donald Trump has some executive power to do exactly what he's talking about. The bad news is there will be court cases. And if the DOJ has to get involved, well, Pam Bondi, she hasn't been one to really move swiftly to get these things taken care of. I'm not really sure who handles the denaturalization process, but the good news is I don't think anyone is sure who handles the denaturalization process. So that's something that we will be watching very, very closely. But President Donald Trump, he is right about something. He said there are a lot of countries out there who are not hardwired for success. They don't know how to succeed. And as a result, they are failing. They are crime ridden, and their citizens are exactly the same way. We don't want those people here in the United States. And nobody knows more about success than President Donald Trump, the most successful president, both in public life and personal life and private life that we've ever seen. As a private real estate developer and entertainment host on NBC News, or on NBC television, rather, he was one of the most successful. We've studied President Donald Trump, met with the members of the Trump family, followed him on the campaign, and written an amazing book called Go Trump Yourself. Live Like Trump for only $24. If you go to gotrumpyourself.com, you can get this book downloaded immediately. You can get the audiobook so I can read it to you. You don't have to even read it because reading is so... so last year, gotrumpyourself.com. Get this book today. Start living like Trump tomorrow.